Did you know that an estimated 7.8% of all Americans will experience post-traumatic stress disorder at some point in their lives? Hello, my name is Dr. Carolyn T. Long, and I'm a therapist, minister, author, and consultant. And I want to talk to you briefly about PTSD, or post-traumatic stress disorder. The traumatic events that often affect men include rape, combat exposure, childhood neglect and or childhood abuse, and that can be physical or sexual abuse. And those are some of the same issues that impact women as well. Sexual abuse, combat, physical abuse, neglect. Those are some of the same issues that affect us all. Other issues that can cause post-traumatic stress disorder includes natural disasters like tsunamis, earthquakes. There can be man-made disasters such as the events of 9/11, or there can be other types of events where automobile crashes, airplane crashes, all of those situations where someone faces a threatening life event. They either see it themselves, they experience it themselves, they see it happening to someone else, or just hearing about it can cause a post-traumatic stress disorder in an individual. We know that following 9/11, there were many persons who were not in New York City at that time or in any of the other places where the actual tragedies took place, but many people suffered post-traumatic stress disorder and had to see a counselor to deal with those issues. After a life-threatening event, like some of the ones we just talked about, most people, or many people, are able to return to their normal level of functioning following such an event. Those who are not able to may develop post-traumatic stress disorder. Some people just have very difficult times going back to their usual routines. People with post-traumatic stress disorder suffer three different types of symptoms. Number one, they relive the event. Number two, they attempt to avoid the event or any event like that event. And number three, there is the arousal. When I say relive the event, they relive it through flashbacks, through nightmares, and I hear of people who can actually all day long just re-experience the trauma. And certainly for people who are re-experiencing the trauma continuously, it impairs their ability to function as moms, as dads, as employees, to function wherever it is that they are expected to function. Nighttime reliving includes dreams and difficulty sleeping, or sleepwalking, or sleep talking, but some kind of sleep disorder. Secondly, people try to avoid any situation that reminds them of the event that they've just experienced. So for instance, if you're in a house fire, as a child, we lost our home by fire. Then for many years, I was very fearful just to even hear of a house fire. So those are examples of trying to avoid any event that is similar to the event that was traumatic. And thirdly, a person may be nervous, they may have a startle response, they may be jittery, they may be very uncomfortable and fearful in situations. The statistics reveal that about 30% of men and women who have spent time in the war zone suffer post-traumatic stress disorder. An additional 20 to 25% of these men and women suffer a mild case of post-traumatic stress disorder. For example, more than half of all the male veterans and almost half of all the female veterans that returned from the Vietnam War were diagnosed with clinically significant post-traumatic stress disorder. The statistics reveal that 1 in 3 women have been sexually abused by age 18, and that 1 in 7 men have been sexually abused by age 18. Each one of these persons, men or women, are candidates for post-traumatic stress disorder because of that trauma. As a member of the EAP, or the Employee Assistance Program, or the Employee Assistance Network for the military, I see a number of couples, I see a number of men and women who are sufferers, as well as women and men who are sufferers from the tragedy of sexual and or physical abuse. If you suffer from post-traumatic stress disorder, or if you know of someone who may be suffering, then there's no shame attached. I would encourage you to get help, to notice the information on the contact that is rolling at the bottom of your screen, and give us a call. There is hope, there is help, and there is healing. Thank you for listening.